Hi everyone, Paul Morbid here, Morbid Team Entertainment and Bolex Repair Philippines. I've gotten quite a few questions about the Bolex Rex Viewfinder and chipped or broken, cracked elements, a little bit of those that haven't been very much damaged, but just enough to be kind of irritating to some Bolex users. My reply is not to worry too much about it, and I want to show you why you shouldn't worry too much about it. I'm going to show you inside the viewfinder here. To those of you who don't know, you do need to remove some screws, but I'm not going to go through that in this video. I'll drop the link on another video of how to remove the viewfinder. So I've already done that here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to simply remove this top plate, and I've already removed the 4 screws down inside of here. So I would then simply remove the viewfinder like so. One thing you can do is take a good look at this part right here, where the viewfinder and the turret shines to one another back and forth. There's a prism inside of here. Let me show you some of this and the viewfinder a bit closer. Okay, and at the end of my pencil eraser, here in the top of the turret, which would be just under the opening of the Rex viewfinder, is the prism. It's known as a diverted prism, deviation prism, a transport prism. I simply call it the turret prism. So of course, once you've framed up your shot, it goes through the lens, hits the ground glass, up through the turret, through the elements inside the turret here. There are a couple of glass elements in here, up through the turret prism, and travels up through the viewfinder into the elements there. And there's another prism inside of there as well. And we'll get more into those prisms in later videos and availability via Bolex Repair Philippines. So let's take a look at some of the more elements of the viewfinder. Now, when holding the viewfinder in your hand, especially the first time you do remove it from the top of your Bolex, this part right here, the diopter, it will just fall out in your hand, so you want to go ahead and remove that. Okay? And if you have some of the elements in here that are kind of chipped or broken down in there, I can come to there not to get you any shadow. There you are. At the end of my pencil eraser, if you do have some of the elements in there that are chipped or something like that, or even inside of the viewfinder itself, flip this back. There we go. And at the end of my pencil eraser, these elements here, you really don't have to worry too much about it, because do understand, even with this prism here at the end of my pencil eraser, once you set up your shot and before you film, you're more than likely going to use this lever, silver lever at the end of my pencil eraser, and flip it up to block off any light from coming into the viewfinder and ruining your shot, overexposing it, things like that. And again, see how that little black piece of metal flips up right there? And for those of you who don't know about it, it's the lever right here. And I'll do that again. Just flip it down. Then light comes through the eyepiece through here, and you can see. But if I take my thumb and I flip this lever forward, then here's what happens. And it blocks off all light from entering the viewfinder and ruining your shot. Okay? So you're probably wondering why. What does all this have to do with the chipped or cracked elements within my viewfinder? Well, if they're not very bad, then don't worry about it. And if you're wondering about what I mean by not worrying about it, well, unless you really want to be a perfectionist, number one, these elements within your Bolex viewfinder don't grow on trees. And although I'm looking to have some of this available, hopefully in 2022 at Bolex Repair Philippines and beyond, more glass that I'm working on for these Bolex cameras, save your money. Because if they're only chipped a little bit, if you can still see through the viewfinder, set up your shot, that's all that a viewfinder is for. You know, you got your prism right here. We should have some more of these available and those turret prisms I was mentioning as well. And because with all this being pointed out, what you could actually do is remove this viewfinder and basically treat your Rex as a non-reflex. And let me show you what I mean by that, just to make a point. So here's something to think about. Let's say you set up your shot, all right? And what you could do after that, you could take this Bolex, your Rex, and you could put it into a change bag, along with some gaffing tape, screwdriver, and remove the viewfinder completely. Use the tape and tape up the hole over here of the top of the turret prism. You know. Then you could go back and you could film. Because you would already have the light cut off if you use the viewfinder anyway. You'd have the light cut off to the viewfinder. You're not using this part of the turret anyway. Everything is going through the shutter. So why should you worry so much about some tiny chipped elements within the viewfinder? Save your money. Something to think about. This also pertains to a video tap. For anyone who wants to put a video tap, there's a good area for it, onto a Bolex. You could leave the viewfinder up there and hook up a video tap to it, or remove the viewfinder completely, depending on how you do it, what format of video tap you put on there. So, just some things to think about concerning the chipped elements of a viewfinder if they're minor. Again, just save your money. It's really not that big of a deal. Do contact me at Bolex Repair Philippines FB page for servicing, parts, and questions. The same email at bolexrepairphilippines@gmail.com. Do click that bell down there and subscribe. For faster response, Twitter at PolMorbid. And for gory experimental horror films, visit the Morbid Team Entertainment page. Until next time, see ya!